Welcome back to RYB. This is part 3, so go back and we'll catch the first 2 if you haven't already. Now, with that out of the way, let's go. Okay, this doesn't see red, but this does. It sees that, and that. So the red could be this one out here, or it could be the one with the red X on it. This one does not see any yellows. That, and that are not yellow. None of these are yellow, but this one sees a yellow. That could be this one or that one. And we're going to repeat that over here with the blue, which could be that one or that one. Now, what I can see is that this one must see a yellow. I have fewer yellows than anything else. These 3 must be yellows and blues. If both of these were yellow, that would only satisfy one of these. No, it wouldn't. There is this edge, this corner right here. It does see both of them. Okay. That could be the red and the blue could be here. But if these 2 were yellow, where are the other yellows coming in? Unfortunately, I think even the few yellows I have are enough to cover everything. I could put a yellow. We're seeing that one for this one. We could put that one as yellow and that one as yellow. Wow. This one sees a red and a blue, 2 yellows. Red and a yellow, 2 blues. Blue and a yellow, 2 reds. Maybe the problem is to fit all of the reds in. If I make this one red and that one red, that's 2 reds, then with that one being red, one of these is red, say the center one, that's the 3rd. This one could be the 4th, then I really wish I could make notes on this. If that one, and let's say that one, then that one, this one, and that or that. That takes making both this and that red in order to get them all in. Red. Now there's also an extra blue. I think that might need to be this one. Let's see, if there are 2 blues here, well, there's still 1 red over here somewhere. There are 2 blues and 1 red and a yellow. This one sees a yellow that is not here or here. That means this one is yellow. And that one sees a yellow, which has to be here. That's the yellow that this one sees. Now this one sees a blue, which can't be that, or, well, it can be that. Ooh, when I guessed that that was yellow, I was wrong to make that assumption. I need 2 reds and a blue. That one isn't blue. That one could easily be blue. If I made that one the red, that one would be red. Well, if I made this one red, I'd still need a red here. I'd need a red and a blue. If that one was red, this one would be red and that one would be blue. And then I would need 2 more reds, one of which is over here, and one of which must be seen by that. If this one sees 2 reds, and this one and that one each see a red, that doesn't quite mean that this one can't be red. That could be the red. Either of these could be the red, but it could also be that this one is the red that this one sees. We've got the yellow. These 2 could both be red, and then that one is blue. This one sees it's yellow already. We need 2 blues and 1 red. The red could be here, but only one of those 2. The red could be any of these, and the red can be 2 of these 3, or will be 2 of these 3. But that one could be blue. If that one is blue, then that and that are red. Otherwise, this one is blue, and that are red. This one is red, because it's not blue. Red. This one is not yellow, but that doesn't help. Here there are 2 blues and a red. These are a red and a blue. This one sees a yellow, of course. That means this must be yellow. And that sees 2 reds. There, and it can't be here or here, so it's got to be those 2. red, and red. Now this one sees a yellow, which is either that or that. If this one were yellow, then this one could not see another yellow because there's only one yellow left. So this one is yellow. Now this one sees a red, 2 yellows, and it needs a blue. This one sees a red, but it's not there, so it's here. That's the red this one sees. And the yellow, and this one sees 2 blues. Another clue there. Okay, that didn't do me any good because I kind of jumped to the gun on that one there. Seeing that one as yellow when I didn't necessarily actually know that because that one could have been the yellow. In any case, there are 2 blues remaining. They're here and there. We have this puzzle. There are 5 around the outside, 1 in the middle, and 5 in the ring. Okay. That, and that are all not red. That are all not red. Furthermore, that isn't red, that isn't red, that isn't red, and that isn't red. What can be red? This sees 1 red. Can't be here, 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 here. It could be here. Can't be here. Can't be there, 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 or there. This can't be red. So the 2 reds can only be the 2 places that say they don't see any reds. This sees 2 blues and a yellow. That sees 2 blues and a yellow. None of them share anything. This sees 2 blues and 2 yellows. There are 2 blues, 2 yellows, 2 blues, 2 yellows around the inside. 1 yellow is over here. 1 yellow is over here. There are 5 yellows. If only 2 of them are around this inner ring, and those account for what that sees and what that sees, because each of them can only see 1 yellow. Each of these can only see 1 yellow, so that's 2 of them there. Where am I putting the other 3 yellows? Here, here, and here, where nobody sees them. Now, the 2 yellows are on the ring, the remaining 2 yellows, which means these 4 blues must exist with 2 of them down here, and these each see 2 blues and 1 yellow. They see 1 blue, they currently each see each other, which is a blue, and a yellow. So they each need a blue, which is here and here, putting the last ones there and there. And this big center one. This is not red. That might be red. That might be red. This and this are both not yellow. That and that are not yellow by that. But of that one, and that one of them must be yellow, which is this one. You are yellow. Now, the red can't be that one, but must be one of these 2. So it's there. And this one still needs a blue, so let's fill that in. This sees 2 reds. They can't be there or there, so this one is red. Now I've got the red and 1 of the blues. This can be yellow or blue, and these 2 can be yellow or blue. This one cannot be blue, because that doesn't see blue. This one is yellow. Now, this can't be blue, but this one sees a blue, which could be there or there. Right now, this one sees 1 yellow, 1 blue, and 1 red. It needs a yellow and a blue. So that's this one and that one. It would be convenient to make that one the blue, because that would satisfy that. Also, that could be blue. There are 2 blues. This one is not blue. Neither of these is red. They're yellow and blue. Neither of these is blue. They're therefore yellow and red. That one could be blue. That one could be blue. If this one only sees 5, 1, 2, yeah, this is 2 sides here. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 are the 5 that it sees. So it only sees one blue, which means there must be a blue that it does not see, which cannot be that one, cannot be that, cannot be that. And it sees this one as well. Therefore, the remaining blue that it doesn't see is this one. That takes care of the two blues for this, the red and one of the yellows, so this is the yellow. Now that one needs a blue, but that can't be blue. So that's blue. That's the one blue. Now this one needs to see a yellow and two reds. It needs to see two reds, it sees one. It needs to see two yellows, it sees one. These two are red and yellow. If one of these is each of red and yellow, this must be the remaining one, which is red. That one cannot be yellow because of this. So this one is red and yellow. That is that one done. So let's see what we got. There are 8, and then the center 9th one here. Ooh, and this is new. Well, I mean, everything must be red, right? Because everything is red, and here everything is yellow. I don't know what these are supposed to mean. They're trying to teach something. It might be that whatever this is, there are that many more of it. I don't know that that makes any sense. If we said this one's yellow because there's 2 yellow, it's not touching that yellow. It's touching this one. And that one's blue. So yellow here, and these two are blue. Well, now I really have no idea what to do. Because this only sees one other. Just like that sees 1, this sees 2, and that sees 1. So even if they're counting themselves and one other, what's the third? What's the fourth? I really don't know. Is this red? No. Why isn't it red? What indicates that that is not red? What tells me that that's blue and I guess this is red? Why is that red and that not red? Red, not red. This one isn't red. Now, even the thing that I was thinking might be possible, that it means that from here there are this many, doesn't work out. That one and that one are blue. Why? Why is that the case? Whatever color this is, there are 2 of. That isn't helpful, though. If you don't know the color. You're gonna give me a lot of that now, aren't you? These are not the color that they say. These are the color that they are indicating, but they're not touching that many of them. There just are that many that are touching each other. It's possible then that this, and this are all blue. What is this not touching? This is only not touching this. And this is only not touching that. If I still don't understand what this new rule is. There's no indication of what's going on. I am going to guess that these 3 in the center are blue. No, they are not. Those 2 are. So something that both of them are touching is blue. That one and that one must be red. This one, well, does that mean that it's the only one? Which means this is blue and that's 3 blues touching right there. I mean, you still can only get there by guessing that. I don't know. So I think this is blue because it sees a red, it sees a yellow, and it doesn't see whatever color it is. I think. It's got 1 yellow. One of these 3 needs to be red. None of them should be blue. One of these two is red and the other is yellow. None of these three should be blue, which means the other blues should be here and here. Now, this sees two yellows and a red. That can't be yellow here and yellow here because this one needs to see a yellow. And this sees two yellows, so I think this is yellow. There. Now, this one sees two reds, and that one sees a red, so I know that this is red. One of these two must be yellow, but that one sees a yellow, so it's this one. And that means the other two are red. Okay, this one sees a blue and a yellow and one other of its color, but it only sees two. This one sees a red and a yellow. One of these three must be yellow. That, if it's this one, that would cover the yellow here and the yellow here that this one sees, but it wouldn't cover that one. Why are there 4 dots? One of the empty dots is this spot itself. Another is an area that it's touching that is the same color that it is. If that is allowing the white dots to be the same color as one of the others and to represent the same area as the other, which goes against all the rules we've had so far. What the heck? One of these is red. If this one were red, I think it would be saying that another one was red, but it needs to be a blue and a yellow. Therefore, this one should be red, I think. Okay, now this one might be saying that there are 2 other yellows. Why are the dots spread out like that, though? Or 2 other reds. Here? No, that is not red. Okay, because this one doesn't see a red. At least it doesn't say it sees a red. This one should be yellow. Now if that one is yellow, does it see a blue here or does it see a blue here? This one sees a red and a yellow. I guess this one has to be the yellow because I already found that it wasn't a red with that mistake. Mistake because I have no idea what this rule is trying to do. But that means this one is blue. Now, I should see 2 more blues from here and 2 more reds from here. This one is seen by that and that. If I make this one blue, I'm just guessing right now. Yeah, see, I don't know. That means that it's probably that one and that one that are blue, which means that it is probably that one and that one that are red. And I've made too many mistakes, and I don't know why. How was this one not red? At this point, I'm going through by trial and error. I'm saying, well, I know it's not red, so let's see if I can remember what it is. This does not see 2 other reds. Whatever these dots mean, that is not it. This is blue. That is red. That is not red. Right, this dot would not make sense if this were red. It is probable then that this is... Well, it can't be the blue, can it? The other blue is... I don't remember. It's one of these 2. Would that mean that this is yellow? That's yellow. And this is not yellow. It's red. Okay, so it is 3 reds itself and 2 others, but it's it's connected, not seen by it. I got that from back in the first one and forgot about it. Which means one of these 2 is yellow. Now was this one the one that was blue? No, I've made a mistake again. Okay. I really don't know how I can tell which one is which color. If this were blue, it would see that one, so it wouldn't be 1. Okay, that part makes sense. So this one has to be the red because it doesn't see any other reds. It does see a yellow. The blue must be here because it is connected to another blue that connects to that one. It's also connected to that one, so that's... I think I'm starting to get it, but whatever this is not any of these 3. This one sees 2 blues and a red. This one sees 2 blues, and we don't know what else it sees. These 2 don't see any of their own color, which means they must be different colors. There are only 2 reds. It would be very easy to make one of these red, and then that one could be the other red. There are 5 blues and 5 yellows. These are blue, blue, and red. These have 2 blues in them. There are a lot of blues. I really don't know how I can tell which one is that color. I don't know. I'm gonna say red here. Okay. That means blue and blue. This sees one, this has a chain or something of 3, including itself, of its own color. And this sees one more of its color. This is not red. There is only 1 blue among these 4. So the other 2 blues, and among these 4, that blue must be that one or that one. This is yellow, which sees 2 yellows, 2 blues. So that's yellow. This one sees all the yellows. 5. 1, 2. But it can chain to see them. It can see through the yellows to another yellow. I think one of these must be yellow, probably. If that were the case, if this were yellow, where would I place the other 2? No, this sees all the yellows, so neither of these is yellow. They must be red and blue. Okay, they must be red and blue. This sees 2 blues, so one of these is blue, but the blue one of these does not see another blue. Therefore, the blue one of these must be that one, and this is blue. And then one of those 2 is blue. One of these 2 is not blue. This must be the red. Now, all the yellows are gathered together. The blue is here, and the yellows are all of those. Okay. This one sees its own color. This one does not. This one does. This one sees its own color, and that sees another of its own color, but only 1. This must be blue. That's the only way it can be 5. Z. 1 at least of these is blue. That is not blue because that would not be connected. This and this are not blue, and one of these 2 is not blue. That isn't blue, that isn't blue. One of these isn't blue. The other one can be blue, probably even has to be with the colors. Okay, this has 3 of a color, and that is all alone. So they are the same color, red or yellow. And this is 2 of a color, and this is 2 of a color, red or yellow. So that means 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and one of these are red and yellow, meaning that, and that must be blue. This is not blue, it is red. And that's red, which means these 2 are red. That sees a yellow, which means this and that are yellow, and then that's blue. And there are 5 connected blues. 1 of these 2 is yellow. Of these 3, none are yellow. Of these 3, none are yellow. So that is not yellow. It is red or blue, and it's connected to another of its own kind, which is in turn, or also it is connected to a third of its kind. None of these three is yellow. One of these two is yellow. If we cannot have yellow that runs from one of these into this and up to here. I know that one's not yellow. If this one were yellow, this could not be yellow, that would be yellow, but it would need to see three chained together yellows, which would make this yellow, and then this one would be seeing two yellows and only one of another color. And the same goes over here. Therefore, none of these three is yellow. And none of those is yellow. One of those is yellow. It's possible for the other one to also be yellow because it doesn't have to provide a complete count. Or this could be yellow. If one of these is yellow, it doesn't see a yellow here, 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 here. It must see a yellow here. Now, one of those two is yellow. If that one were yellow, and I don't know because I can't tell which side would be which. There is nothing saying which side would be which. Something is going to have to make that decision. Whoops. I just accidentally clicked on this and saw that it wasn't yellow. I already had known that it wasn't yellow. And I made a mistake now, counted against me up there. By the way, having errored out of that level, I have only just at that point figured out that these are your life hearts. There is no documentation here. Okay, so one of those is yellow. None of these is yellow. One of these is red, one of them is blue. One of these is red, one of them is blue. It could be blue, blue, blue. That would allow red, red, and then a red up here, and then this one could be yellow, or this could be the red, but it would just as easily be the other way around. These are red and blue, these are red and blue. If the two of those were the same color, this would be a different color. If both of those were red, that would be blue. If both of those were blue, it wouldn't work. At least one of these must be red, which means at least one of these must be blue. If I were to make this blue, we would have red and red and red, and that would be three reds. But that would mean that this was blue, and it wouldn't be able to see its other blue. The other blues. Red, red, red. This blue would have to connect to this. Therefore, it's more likely that it's red, 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 except that would mean these were blue and blue, so it's more likely that these are red, red, and red like that. With this being blue, yes, okay, if this were red and that were red and that were red, these would have to be blue, and they would need to connect through to something. Therefore, that is not the case. So that isn't red along with both of those. And it isn't red along with both of these. And it isn't red along with one of these and one of these. Therefore, this is blue. Which means that and that are red. Each of them sees a red, which means this must be red. Now, all the blues must be connected. Each of these must see a blue, which means that these two are yellow and this one yellow is actually two yellows. This sees a yellow. This sees itself and connects to three others of its color, which means it must be the blue. These two cannot be the blue. One of those is yellow. These are not blue. One of these can be blue, which means probably both of these are blue. It's not blue. Yeah, it's not blue. All the blues are connected. All the blues are connected. This is connected to one of its own color. Blue, also blue. No. Okay, the only way that worked, the only way that are we done? The only way that worked next is for one of these to be blue and this one to be blue. One of these is yellow, one of these is blue. This sees a red and a yellow. We could go yellow, yellow, and then there could be a yellow here. No. Okay. If I were to put a red over here, I would have to have all the yellows over here, or, yeah, over here. There, and there. If that were a red, these three would be yellow. That would be a red. That would be a red. And that would be the other blue. If that's a red, that's a red, and that's a red. If that's a yellow, we have to do the same thing. Because if, well, do we though? Is it possible that that is yellow and that is yellow? Well, no. Okay, because I know that this is a limit. This is a limit, which would mean that if that and yet that were yellow, this would be the blue. I couldn't put a yellow here, so it would be a red, and this would not be able to see all of its reds. Therefore, that one, the same thing would happen if this were red, making that red, and then that became, well, no, that wouldn't even be red, because one of these is red, and one of these is blue, and the other is yellow. However, I think what it means is that yellow, if I were to put yellow here, here, and here, that would be blue, and then that, and that would be red. Here, and here are red. If those are yellow, what if those are yellow? Then this doesn't see yellow. What if these are red? Then this and this are yellow. Yellow is here, and that's blue. I cannot push the blue to here, so that's blue. Now, that one must be yellow. It sees another yellow, thank you, here, and that must go to here, because that needs a yellow. And then, red, red, red. I am making too many mistakes in these. I would prefer to not make any mistakes in them. Yeah, okay. None of these are blue, because each of them sees themselves and a chain of 3 total. This sees one red, that sees a red and a yellow, that sees a red and a yellow. If these are red and yellow, these are red and yellow, that means these have to be red or yellow, but must go with a chain that goes here to here at least. Each of them must go to this, which means they are also crossing to each other. So these two are the same color, and the same color as this. And this, because, yeah, and that would be the end of that, because it says 3 in each, and this would be a 4th. So this must be the other color, and it has to run here, here, and here. One of these two must be red. I am guessing then red, 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 and therefore yellow, 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 and red, red, and that means there are 2 blues and a yellow remaining. I don't see... Okay, these can't be yellow because that would mean this went to 4, right? Blue, blue, and then this one is the remaining yellow. I did see. Okay, how about this one, which will be a blue star? And then you're going to give me this same thing. This is probably going to be yet another rule. Let's see what they're going to try to tell me now. Black, black. There's a black dot. This is black. This is red. There's one red, which is seen by that one and that one, so it's here. There's one yellow seen by this one. This one sees a black, which must be there, which means that the other 2 are the blues. This one and that one both see yellow, so it must be this. This one sees a red here. This one sees a blue here. And that's that. Now, this and this each see 2 reds. There are only 2 reds, so neither of them is red. This and that are the red. This one sees a black, which means that's black, and this one sees a yellow, so this is yellow. Okay, we've introduced black dots for this one. There's one red dot, which is that one or that one, but must be seen by that one and this one, so this one. This sees a blue dot there or there, and this sees a blue dot in any of those. Not this one. This is not blue, therefore it is yellow or black, and this one is yellow or black. If this one were yellow, that one would be black. The other yellow would have to be seen by that one and by that one. So that is not yellow. This is not yellow. It is not red. This one is the black. I cannot mark it as black, but I can mark this one as yellow. Now, that one sees a red, done. This one sees a yellow. This one sees a blue and a black. That one is black and sees a yellow. This one does not see a second yellow, so this is yellow. Now, one of these is blue, one of them is black, and that one is black, which covers both blacks, leaving this one to be blue. Now, that one also sees a blue, which means it's here. We have one pre-colored. There are two yellows available. That sees a yellow, that sees a yellow. It could be yellow here and yellow here, or it could be yellow here and yellow here. There are two blacks. This sees one of them. So that or that is a black. And each of these sees a black, which is not itself. One of these two is black, and they each see another black, which must be the middle one. So one of these is black, this one is black, one of these is blue, so this is black or blue, this is black or blue, this is not yellow. So if each of these sees a yellow, the yellow must be out here. Now this is black or blue. This sees no blacks, but it does see a blue and a red. This can't be a red, that is a red. And this is a blue. And that's that. Okay. One of these two is yellow. One of each of these three, that diamond, and that square, are each color, is each color. One of these is each color, which means this is not black, that is not black. This one sees a black, which must be that one. And that means this one's black. This is not black, and that is not black. There are four blacks, one of which is here, and the other three, that's not the black, that's not the black. This is a red or yellow. This is a red or yellow. That's a blue. This sees a blue and two reds. Red, red, blue. These are a red and a yellow. Well, that sees a red, that sees a yellow. I'm gonna go with that. Red, yellow. Now this one has seen its red. These two are yellow and black. One of these two is black. Not this one, because this one must be red for this. Red, red. These each see a yellow, which must be there and there. Now that one sees a yellow here, a black there. That one is a black and sees a red. Red. This one sees a yellow, a black, and a red, so that's a red. There are no reds remaining. That one sees a red here, a black, and a yellow. This one sees a red, it sees two reds, and a black, so that one's black. This is black, that covers the black that this sees. This one's red, that covers the red that this sees. This is yellow. Now this one sees a black, which is here. Black, 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 black. This one sees a blue here, which covers that one and that one. And then I know that each of these is black seeing each other. This is black for that one. This is black for that one. So the final yellow is this one, because nothing needs it to be a color other than yellow. Okay. One of these two is red. Of that one, and that one is yellow, one is blue. So one of those three is the lone yellow. There are three reds. This one sees that, and that. There's a lot of room here. But one of these three must be black. If it's one of these two, that means the other one would have to be a blue or yellow, and this would have to be whichever color blue or yellow remains. And then that would be the red. If one of these were red, then this would be one of yellow or blue, with the other one being yellow or blue. And this would be black. So if this is either of the colors here, the other is here. If this is either of the colors here, the other is again here. So this one is a red or a black, because the third alternative is for this to be red or black, which would mean it was red or black. However, of those three, one is red, one is black, and the other is blue or yellow. This one I don't know the color of. It could be red or black. One of these two must be red. If this one were red, these would be blue and yellow, which doesn't work. That means this one's red. It sees two black. There are only two black. That means the black that this one sees is one of these two, that one, and the other black is that one. This is black, and that is black. If this is black, these two are blue and yellow. This is red. This one becomes the blue now because of that. This one is yellow, that one is blue. And the final red is the one that this one sees. Okay, next one. This sees that, and that. Similarly, this one sees that, the same two, and this. Okay, there's only one yellow available. It has to be this one because that's seen by that, and this. Yellow. Now this and that are red and black, satisfying that one. And most of this one, which needs this one to be red. Now, each of these two has a red and a yellow, meaning that this and this are blue. Now this one sees a yellow and a red, and there's another red. It could be here, it could be here. There's one red. Okay. There's one red, so it's not this. This is not the red. The final red is either the top or the bottom. This sees it. It's the bottom. This sees two black, and black, and the top is black to satisfy the two side ones, making that the third black one, meaning the two remaining blues must be here and here. Okay, this one has 6 listed. That sees a blue, which is that. This sees a blue, a red, and a black. There are 4 black. This one sees a red. This one has to see 3 red, which is all of the red. It does not, the center star does not see these outer ones. Therefore, these outers are not red or yellow. They must be black. So this sees a black on the outer edge, a blue on the inside, and red here. And this one sees a yellow, but it's not on the outer edge. It is here. And again with these two, the red can't be the outside, and the yellow can't be the outside. This sees a blue, this sees a black, that's the outer edge. Or it could be that. This sees a blue and a yellow, the yellow must be here. This one sees a red, that's here. And that's all of it. Okay. One more point. The center section sees 2 black, 2 red. That is that one, that one, that one, and that one. So, could be that both of these are red, and then both of those would be black. That would mean this was yellow. But if both of these were black, then both of these would be yellow. Where am I fitting the blues? Wait, this middle one could be blue. Yes, if this one sees 2 blacks and 2 reds, it cannot be black or red. It must be yellow or blue. This one sees a yellow, which must be either this end or this triangle. It can't be this triangle because this triangle must be red or black for this one. So this one sees a red here, and that sees a yellow. This one sees a yellow here. This one sees a yellow and a blue, which must be there. Now that one sees a red and a yellow. That one does not yet see a yellow. One of these two is yellow, but not that one, because that one must be red or black. So that one is yellow for this one. Now there's one yellow remaining, which can be this one only, because that has to see it. Now there's a blue, which the center does not see. Therefore, it's that one. There is a red, which is seen by this one, and that one must be this one. Red. Final puzzle in this group. This sees two blues and a black. Blue, blue, black. Okay. There are a lot of blacks in this one. There is one red, which is that one or that one. There are two yellows, one of which is that or that, the other of which is that or that. This sees two blacks, so that and that are black. This one sees blacks, which are that one and that one. I wish I could mark them as being black. So this one is black for that one. That's the black one that this one sees, which means that the blue ones that this sees are here and here. Okay, that one sees a blue, which is the remaining blue. It's got to be that one or that one. But this one sees a yellow and a black, so this cannot be blue, which means this is blue. Now the red must be that or that. This sees two blacks, so that's black, that's black. This one, this one, this one, and this one are all black. That, and that. This one needs a red, which has to be here. This one needs a yellow, which could be that one. I know that that's black and that's black. This one's black. Yeah, that. This is black, that is black, this is black, and this is black. With this and this being black, that one has seen its black one. That has seen its black one. This one has seen its black. This one has seen its black. These two see each other, so they are taking care of each other. That one needs to see a black, so that is black. That is black, so that one is yellow. Now that one or that one is yellow, but this one sees a black, which must be here. So that is yellow. And there is one section remaining. I'm on this, what I think is the last section. All the rules. Okay. There are no reds next to this, which means there, and there. There is a red next to this, which means it's either there or here. Whatever this is, there is one of the same color next to it. This one sees two yellows, which means it's not yellow. This one sees one blue, so I know it's not blue. Two blacks can be seen by this. That is not black, and it's not blue. This could be the yellow. If this were yellow, that would be yellow. This would see two yellows, and that would mean this was black, and this was black, which would mean this was blue. We would have yellow and yellow, black and black. No, yellow and yellow, black and black. Red and red? Yeah, okay, this would be yellow, that would be yellow. That's the two yellows for that, and it satisfies this. That would be the blue to take care of that. This couldn't be red, so that would be red. And the other red would have to be here. That would be the black, that would be the black. Red, red, black, red, black, yellow, yellow, blue. Is there any other way to make that work? I don't think so. If this were red and it saw another red, that red would have to be here, which means this one wouldn't see it. And it can't be blue. And if this were black, this would not be seeing it. So yeah, okay. yellow, yellow. Now this one is the blue, and then red and red. Oh, that's it. It was just one puzzle for the whole section. Congratulations, you've completed all the puzzles. Okay. Well, that went a lot faster than I thought it would. I thought there was a whole section here. Even though it said 98%, I thought 2% could be more than one puzzle. Okay, well, thanks for watching my playthrough of RYB. There are more games coming and ongoing, so I'll see you soon. Bye.